If you've lost track of the days and weeks since Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker announced the stay-at-home orders to combat the COVID-19 outbreak, it would be perfectly understandable. But spring is officially here, with summer only a few weeks away. Ahead of tackling the White Mountains this summer, Connecting Point's Brian Sullivan visited the hills in the southern Berkshires and came across several other hikers who were out on the trails for a number of different reasons.
From Route 7 in the southern Berkshires, drivers can see portions of the South Taconic Range. The Taconic Mountains are the thread that ties Vermont to New York, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, and the highest mountain in the southern range can be gotten to from the town of Sheffield, Massachusetts, by way of the Racebrook Falls Trail. Standing tall at over 2,600 feet, Mount Everett is also the second highest peak in the state, behind Mount Greylock. From here, the nearly 3-mile journey to the summit starts somewhat inconspicuously on this peaceful meadow before quickly turning to this under the tree line. But rather than continue to march forward, we spoke with a local trail goer to give us a little refresher course on what to expect.
There's a really lovely waterfall up there, and there are two different levels. We have the lower falls and we have the upper falls. And it's a really great place. I've grown up around here, so I've probably been coming here ever since I was really young. What's nice about it is you can do the easy version, or you can do the hard version, or there's even like a medium version in between.
Challenge accepted. With my sights set on hiking in the White Mountains of New Hampshire over the summer, I was looking at Mount Everett as a sort of spring training. This would be my way to shake the winter rust off and hopefully get my joints accustomed to steady inclines and declines, as well as some relatively rugged terrain. Turns out, I wasn't alone in treating these trails as a prep course for future endeavors.
This trail spoke to me because people said it was hard or expert, and I wanted a little something more. I did it a few days ago with my sister. It's really cool because you go like over rivers, and it doesn't feel like it's kind of just like one trail and you're hiking up it and that's your workout. You feel like you're, really in nature.
I've kind of just started picking up hiking. I'm not an expert of going up big trails yet, so being able to go to something where it's kind of a nice still walk. I like to take pictures, so being able to take a look at the scenery, but also kind of capture that scenery.
And there's no shortage of scenery throughout the trail, with several lookout areas like this one. The landscape is comprised of pitch pine and scrub oak, and the sound of Racebrook can be heard from the distance at almost all times. Whatever wildlife there was, it didn't make its presence known until I came across what I thought was a woodpecker, but may have actually been a yellow-bellied sapsucker. Whatever it was, we enjoyed a nice moment. But back to the brook. Hikers will notice that the sound gradually changes from a babble to a roar the closer they get to this, the upper level of the three-tiered Racebrook Falls. The sight and sound of these cascades are simply majestic as they deliver a little touch of Hawaii to the Berkshires. Down here on the second tier, I was able to wet my hands a little, as well as my shoes, shorts, and shirt. The upper falls alone are worth the trip, but I still have a little farther to go to get to the top. And the whole point of this hike for me was to experience a lot of similar terrain that I would come across on one of the bigger mountains, but just do it in a much shorter time frame. Oftentimes, getting to the top can play a distant second to the adventure that's had along the way. For a solo hiker like me, it's a time to contemplate a sense of oneness with nature while continually moving forward, occasionally stopping to take it all in. Others may be friends having a group experience unlikely to be replicated anywhere else. Or it's a dad taking his kids on the trails like my dad did so many times with my brother and me. In recent weeks, we've seen parents who've had to homeschool their children finding it necessary to turn the great outdoors into the classroom on a somewhat regular basis.
I feel like it's important enough to even miss some, classwork and stuff to get the kids out and their motor skills and their strengthening and breathing the fresh air up here. Everybody on the trails is really respectful of each other, and so it seems great. It's great to see people. It's a lonely time, so I think it's very important.